Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for this very exciting episode where today I'm going to be painting on this paint palette, and there's like a small story attached to this whole thing. I was first inspired to paint on paint palettes a long time ago by Mariah Elizabeth. She did this a couple of times on her channel and I thought it was a lot of fun, and I actually ended up painting this exact palette before, but it wasn't like for a video. It was just like a personal project. It was actually a gift for someone, and I painted it for them and I gave it to them. And um, so I don't have the original. I have this picture of it, of the original. And I was actually looking back through like my photos when I saw this picture, and I remembered this painting that I did, and it kind of made me sad that I didn't have it anymore. And I honestly believe the person I gave it to might not even have it. And I remember that when I bought these wooden paint palettes, it actually came with two, so I had one more left to paint. And so here I am today painting it, basically recreating it, although it's not going to be exactly the same because there is going to be some minor differences. But as you can see, after I did like the rough silhouette sketch of the cats, I just started filling it in with white acrylic gesso. I'm going to be using a dark gray on this, so honestly, maybe the gesso wasn't even necessary, but sometimes with wooden things, I feel like it really absorbs and drinks up acrylic paints, and so you end up having to do a lot more coats. And so to just prevent that, I did like one or two coats of gesso. Um, I feel like this was the right choice because when I was doing the first coat of gesso, I did feel like it kind of absorbed it a little bit. But here, I after I believe the second coat, I think I only did two coats since it is such a dark gray that I'm going to be using. I started filling it in, and again, this is an acrylic paint that I have. I've actually had this gray mixed for a long time. I don't even know what I originally used this gray on. It's obviously not the same gray that I used in the original painting that I did. Um, the original, I believe, was a much lighter gray than this one is. And I'm not necessarily trying to recreate it one for one, more so just like the general feel of it. Because looking back at that picture that I had on my phone, I really liked it. I think it turned out really cute. But of course, I don't have the original of it that I made. And so now that I basically remembered and had the second paint palette still, I don't really know what my original idea was for the second one. I think I was planning on painting something else on it, but in the original, I actually used puffy paint to do these little hearts on it. But this time, I wanted to try using just like acrylic paints for lots of reasons. One, because I've always wanted to do like, you know, the really thick type of paints where you usually use like palette knives for, and you see it a lot with very like abstract painting. I've been wanting to do that, but I don't really ever do that kind of thing, and I don't even have paint palettes or like palette knives that are supposed to be used for that. That's why I'm using this old butter knife that I found. It works surprisingly well. The other reason is because I am a bit on a time crunch, and puffy paint does tend to take longer to dry than acrylic paints. Also, all of these colors that I'm using have been mixed for a long time now, and they're getting chunky and gross, and so I really have to use them up. As I mentioned in my last video, I am in preparations for a trip, so I had to do this pretty quickly, but I have to say it's been such a long time since I've actually painted something, especially something flat like this. I think the last thing I painted were squishies, but that was even a long time ago because I've been working on so many other things, and it feels so nice to be painting again. And honestly, when I get back from my trip, I'm excited to be painting more stuff. But as you can see, while I've been talking, I filled in all the hearts. As you can see, they're different colors and different styles than the original. Um, I filled in the dark ears for the cat, and I signed and put the dates on the front side, which I think originally I had it on the back. With my Posca marker, I also went in and started like outlining the facial details. I kind of referenced my original one for this. As you can see, I messed up a little bit, but I just went over the places that I messed up with more of the gray paints. And then once I was like pretty happy and satisfied with my outlining, I went in with my actual acrylic paints. Originally, I was thinking of just using the Posca markers, but for some reason, the black of the Posca marker didn't really match with the rest of the paint that I used. So I went ahead with just regular basic black acrylic paints to do in the facial details. Very simple, basic, mouth, eyes, nose, whiskers. And then off camera, I did the highlights in the eyes, and now I am working on putting the Mod Podge on it. For the cat itself, I used a matte, and then for like the hearts, I wanted to do the glossy one. The difference isn't super noticeable, but I hoped it would be. But honestly, as long as it stays protected and it doesn't like chip or anything, I'm happy. And I am leaving some spots unpainted or protected, just so it has like the natural wood feeling of the paint palette. But once that all tried, here is the final piece. I am honestly very happy with it. Obviously, I love the original that I made, that I had on my phone. But I also really love this one. I think it just looks so cute. It's so simple. And the hearts kind of look like actual paint on a paint palette, which I love. But thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you all enjoyed. Bye!